Hi everyone, and welcome to my Planetary line Astrocartography series. This video is going to be about Venus, so let's get right into it. This series is all about how the planetary lines play out based on your rising sign. Check out my previous two videos, especially the first one, just to get an introduction to why I'm doing it this way and how. A brief, but basically this is my method. A lot of the astrocartography videos out there that you're going to see are talking about the generalized meaning of the line. What they're really referring to is the archetype of the line. So sun is where you shine, Jupiter is where you expand, but expand in where? Shine in what area of life? So I am giving you a deeper layer on that in this series using my method. So I hope you like it. I hope you resonate, but just disclaimer, just keep in mind, this is still a generalized interpretation of the lines. Astrocartography is a lot more than just planetary lines. We gotta take into account your aspects. We gotta take into account your timing. We gotta take into account the goal. What is it that you want right now at this moment? So let's get into it. Venus line. What is Venus? Let's start with the archetype. Venus represents love. Venus represents relationship, beauty, pleasure, harmony, money, values, and your ability to receive. Because of these things, Venus has been simplified, Venus line has been simplified to the line where you find love. And yes, it could be for some people, but not for all people. It depends on your chart, and it depends what Venus represents in your chart. It depends on aspects and so on and on. But basically, this is where this simplification of astrocartography Venus line comes from, because that's what Venus represents. Venus lines are commonly described as one of the most desirable places to live because they can bring a greater ease, connection, enjoyment, and magnetism. And yes, Venus lines can be extremely beautiful. But it's not just love, it is harmony, it is beauty, it is luxury. The downside of Venus could also be overeating, in spending too much money on these luxurious things. There is a downside of every single planetary line. But basically, yeah, Venus is a lot more than just love. And Venus sometimes is not even love, it's bad love or bad relationships if Venus is a challenge in your chart. But in general, what you could expect being on a Venus line is feeling more attractive. This is an amazing line for us ladies. My husband is currently living on his Venus line. I am living on my Mars line. I am very workaholic, which what I needed for this season of my life. And my husband is inspiring me to get monthly facials. I have subscribed to a monthly facial subscription based on him. He is taking extra care of himself, and that is Venus for you. But anyways, Venus is being sociable, creative, open to love, self-love. Relationship can be heightened here. Money can flow more with ease here. But yeah, all these beautiful Venusian things are activated. So let's go through my formula and how I see Venus line playing out for you based on your natal chart. Let's start with Aries rising. For you Aries, Venus is most likely going to activate money, self-worth, relationships. This is actually one of your love lines. It could also bring clients, one-on-one partnerships, contracts, harmonious contracts, and partnership. But yes, for sure, for you actually Aries rising, this is one of your love lines. This can be a great line for attracting romantic partners, supportive collaborations, or clients who genuinely value what you have to offer. Relationships may also open financial door for you. You could earn more through client work, partnerships, beauty, creativity. This is double points, extra points if part of your work is in relationships or in beauty. But in general, it's great for you Aries rising when it comes to money, self-worth, increasing your finances, and also for your relationships. This location or this line may help you soften, receive more, and recognize that you do not have to do everything alone. However, self-worth may become closely tied to how much attention, money, or validation you receive from others. So keep that in mind. Be mindful of remaining in a relationship because it feels financially or emotionally comfortable, depending too heavily on someone else's resources, or spending money in order to feel more desirable. Okay, Taurus rising. For you, Taurus, Venus is a great line for you. This is your chart ruler. This is your planet. So this is going to be a line where you feel like yourself, where you can express yourself, where you feel home. Venus line will activate and heighten your identity, your appearance, your confidence, your work, your health, routines, and also your everyday lifestyle. This is a beautiful line for you, Taurus rising. Of course, taking into account, the aspects and other factors, but I see this as a beautiful line for you. This can make you feel extremely attractive, relaxed, magnetic, and connected to your natural style. Other people may respond warmly to you, and you could feel more confident expressing and being who you are. This can also create a more pleasant everyday life. You may find work that feels enjoyable, improve your working environment, or be able to develop routines that allow more beauty, pleasure, and balance into your day-to-day life. I see Venus line as a great place of your day-to-day life being very beautiful and harmonious for you, Taurus rising. You could also attract clients or opportunities through your appearance, personality. If part of your work is creative, if part of your work is in beauty, health, taking care of yourself, this is an amazing line for you. Okay, Gemini rising. For you, Gemini, your Venus lines will most likely activate creativity, romance, pleasure, children, self-expression, spirituality, solitude, and your subconscious world too. There's good parts there, and there's also some parts that can be a little bit intense. So great for dating. This is one of your potential love lines. This is a place where you might find yourself going out on a lot more dates in here. But this is also a line where I see things that you might have buried, your fears, your blocks, subconscious things coming up. Place where you could have a lot more vivid dreams in here because it's awakening, it's activating that part of your chart. Romance here can feel dreamy, private, or deeply familiar. You may attract relationships that feel spiritual or karmic, or you could experience love that unfolds behind the scenes. Okay, so maybe you start a relationship that starts as a secret. I'm not saying that's always going to be the case. I'm just trying to give you different examples of how this unfolds. And I actually had a reading with somebody last week, and I was basically it was a similar thing. I was basically saying the relationship might start hidden, and when we hear that, we always jump to the worst case scenario. We're talking like cheating and infidelity and so on, but a relationship starting as a secret is not always necessarily a bad thing. I will give you my example. I am in a marriage with someone from an opposing faith, or let's say different faith. And so for a while that was a secret, and actually until now some people don't know, but I guess they're gonna know now if they see it. So that is an example of a hidden relationship, right? It's not fully in the open. We're not doing anything wrong. We are married, but for the sake of our safety, security, and just like drama, we don't share it to everybody. This, for you, Gemini rising, can be a beautiful location for retreating, actually, for creative solitude, healing, spiritual practices, or developing work that happens away from the public eye. If you are working a lot behind the scenes, or maybe part of your work does involve working behind the scenes, maybe even subconscious work, astrology, psychology, healing, this can be a great line for you. Because these themes are heightened, just make sure that you do not isolate yourself too much. Okay, let's go to Cancer rising. For you, Cancer rising, your Venus line will most likely activate home, themes of home, family, property, emotional security, friendships, audience, and long-term desires or long-term dreams. This is a beautiful line. I would say for you, Cancer rising, this is a line where You could feel at home. You could end up like buying a property here, starting a family, meeting a person in here, because these themes, this location makes you want to think about long-term things. You could find the right people, right friends, and your friends or friend could become something serious. But yeah, that's how I would say for you, Cancer rising: home, family, property, creating, building a home, investing in a property. Beautiful line. Just keep in mind, please, these are all general. We gotta take into account like other factors, of course. You may feel inspired here to decorate your home, settle down, host gathering, or create a home that becomes a place of connection for people. Friendships, community can also become a major source of pleasure and opportunity for you. You can attract beautiful, supportive people here, or if you are looking for people, your tribe, your community, Venus line can be that line for you. This is especially beneficial if your goals involve community building, social media, group programs, or creating a network around your work. However, just keep in mind that you may find yourself trying too hard to maintain harmony within your family or friends groups. Of course, harmony, we all want harmony, as long as it does not mean that you self-abandon your own needs. You could become the person who keeps everyone connected while ignoring your needs on this line. So just keep that in mind. Okay, Leo rising. For you, Leo, this is an amazing line for communication, writing, speaking, social media, your local environment, like connecting easily with the people in your immediate environment, and also for your reputation, your career, and your public image. This is one of your career lines, especially if part of your work is in communication, is in writing, is in speaking. This is a beautiful line for you when it comes to career, public image, speaking, and social media. This can be a powerful place for developing a more magnetic voice and a public presence. You may become more persuasive here, charming, and enjoyable to listen to. Your writing, speaking, teaching, or content may attract more attention because people connect with how you communicate. This can also be supportive for careers involving beauty, art, media, like I said, design, relationships, entertainment, or branding. You may be perceived as more likable or approachable professionally, making it easier to attract clients, collaboration, and recognition. However, just know that you may become overly connected with how your message is received. You might soften your truth, avoid conversations or controversial conversations, or create what is attractive rather than what's authentic. Okay? Virgo rising. This is a line that will most likely activate your resources, self-worth, money, travel, higher education, publishing, and teaching. I said a lot of things in there. Let me break it down. One part of it is that this is a great line for learning. This is a great line for teaching, going to school, or you being a teacher, mentoring, coaching. A great line for spirituality, or you will probably find yourself wanting to dive deeper or becoming more spiritual here, or higher education. It could be spirituality, philosophy, religion, those themes, or wanting to travel more on this line, or this could be a beautiful line to travel on for you. On the other side, it is also a beautiful line for your finances. This is actually one of your money lines. Okay, in this line, this can be supportive for increasing your income through knowledge, education, because of the two parts that I've just mentioned. This is a great line regardless for you when it comes to money, but extra great if part of your work is education, teaching, spirituality, travel, publishing, or sharing your philosophy. You may become more confident in the value of what you know and feel inspired to turn your experience, wisdom, or expertise into something profitable. Travel may feel more pleasurable here. You could fall in love with the culture, meet romantic partners from different backgrounds, or build meaningful relationships through study and exploration. Your beliefs and values may also shift, helping you create a life that feels more aligned with what you genuinely desire. However, just keep in mind that you may be spending excessive time in traveling or in studying or chasing the next thing, spiritual experiences or lifestyle you believe will make you feel more fulfilled. You may also idealize teacher, culture, belief systems, or distant locations. Like you could love being on this place, on this line, but also always be looking for the next thing. Okay, so just keep that in mind that Venus lines could play out like that for you. Okay, Libra rising. This is a beautiful line for you because just like Taurus, this is your chart ruler. So let's start there. This is a place where you feel more you, able to express yourself. This is a place where you feel home. This is a place where you radiate even extra. But also your Venus line is going to activate intimacy, activate transformation, shared resources. Could be a great line for investment. Extra magnetism in here. I think I already said that. Appearance is extra dialed up. Identity is being activated in here. And perhaps when it comes from finances, learning to lean into others. Okay, that's like an example of shared finances. This is a beautiful line for you regardless because it is your chart ruler, keeping in mind other factors. Other people may naturally gravitate toward you here, and you could experience greater confidence in your body style or personal expression. Relationships may become deeply intimate and financially significant. You could attract a supportive partner here, investors, clients, or opportunities involving shared resources. This can also be a great line for healing, especially healing in terms of relationships, trust, sharing with people, intimacy, vulnerability, and learning to receive. Learning to be open to receive, and learning to trust and getting intimate. And part of that is being receiving, right? Being open to ask for help. Okay. You may become financially or emotionally entangled with someone in here. So that's the downside of it. If your Venus is challenged. So avoid discussing power imbalances or remain in situation because the chemistry and benefits feel difficult to leave. Okay, Scorpio rising. Scorpio rising for you, this is actually one of your love lines. This is a great line for marriage. And this could be a great line for you, Scorpio rising, when it comes to relationships, long-term relationships, contracts, clients, partnerships. But it will also activate the subconscious, spirituality, hidden patterns. And it could be a line where you actually withdraw, tend to isolate or separate yourself. It can be a great line to retreat, and can be a great line, like I said, when it comes to finding a partner. You are going to find yourself that you attract more people here, right? It could be like romantic partners, more collaborations, more clients from this location or this line. Relationship may feel strangely familiar, spiritual or karmic. You may meet someone who awakens your desire for intimacy, softness, and surrender. This is also, or can be, a beautiful line when it comes to going on a retreat, private creative work. If you work a chunk of your work or a huge chunk of your work involves like working by yourself, working behind the scenes, healing, subconscious work, psychology, astrology, you will benefit from that because that is the nature of your work. So being isolated is not really a downside because you need that part of your work. But what else? You could also experience a greater compassion, artistic inspiration, or a deeper connection to your spiritual life on this line. This line could also open your heart. Maybe Scorpio, that is what you need, but it will require you to recognize the difference between unconditional love and abandoning yourself. Sagittarius rising. For you, Venus line will most likely activate work, health, routines, being of service, and also friendships, community, long-term goals and audiences. So if you're in the online space, this is a great line for you. I see this line as, yes, romance could happen here for sure, but it's more of like day-to-day work, your dreams, your long-term vision, and routine and health. Health here can thrive if that is a focus of yours, or health in here could become a focus because of what this line brings in your chart. This is going to be a line where you find more enjoyable, more harmonious work environment. Great line to seek job if you're looking for a job and you don't have to move to the actual place. You can seek remote jobs or work from that line. And what else? This line could help you attract supportive colleagues, clients, or collaborations. You may find it easier to create routines that feel balanced and sustainable on here. Work may become more social, creative, or connected to a community in this space. Your friendships may create professional opportunities too, and your work may introduce you to people who become an important part of your life. There can also be a tendency to prioritize socializing and comfort over the routines of your body. So please just keep that in mind. You need to take care of your body on a Venus. I mean, you need to take care of your body anywhere, but when you're on a line that highlights, activates the themes of health, if you do not take care of your health, it can have bigger consequences. And the lesson here on this line is taking care of your health. Okay, Capricorn rising. For you, Capricorn rising, Venus line will most likely activate creativity, romance, pleasure, children, career, reputation, and visibility. This is an amazing line for you if you have a business, but also work, career, both of them. Great if your work is your own business, amazing. Great for career and also a place to have your children. Out of all the places, this is where you're going to be seen more in a better light when it comes to your career. A great place for dating. You're able to go on a lot more dates. This would be one of your love lines too, along with career. So two nice important areas of life, love and career, is being supported here. This can be especially supportive for creative success and professional recognition. Romance can also become prominent here. You could attract someone through your career, public life, or creative work. That is a possibility, since both those areas of lives are being activated. If you're single, you could find somebody on here, or you could find someone through your career. Romantic and professional relationships may become intertwined, and you may avoid taking necessary risk because you do not want to disrupt the approval you are receiving. This line may help you become successful through what you love, but it will still ask you whether your success reflects your truer desires or simply what other people find appealing. Aquarius rising, for you, your Venus lines will most likely activate home, family, property, travel, education, spirituality, publishing, and worldwide. This is a line where you will maybe want to make a home, buy a property. Could also be a place where you find somebody and start a family there. This can be a line where, buy a property, think about family. If family area of life is unhealed, it could also be a heavy line because it will bring up those themes for you. But great line to buy a property, great line to find love, one of your lines. But it could also bring, which might be a little bit opposing, like home and settling, and the other area of life is traveling. It is moving, it is exploring, but it's also spirituality and philosophy, finding the deeper meaning of life, purpose. I like this line for you. I think it's a beautiful line for creating a home abroad. So if you have this Venus line and you're looking right now, okay, where should I move or live abroad, and you're an Aquarius rising, look at your Venus line. Just remember, we gotta take into account other factors, okay? The line is not everything. In here, Aquarius rising, You may fall in love with the culture, landscape, the lifestyle, or spiritual atmosphere of the location. This can be supportive line for you for studying, teaching, publishing. And if these things is not on your focus, I bet they will be. You may also experience improvements in your home or family life. You could purchase a property here or create a living environment that feels more beautiful and peaceful. This line could also help you discover where you feel at home in the world, but it cannot build inner belonging for you. You have to do the inner work yourself. Nothing will ever replace that. And lastly, Pisces rising. This line will most likely activate communication, writing, speaking, and your local environment, your immediate environment. Also, intimacy, shared finances, trust, and emotional transformation. You may develop a more magnetic, persuasive, or emotionally resonant voice in here. This is a great line for you if you are a writer, content creator, storyteller, or having conversations that require deep emotional connection. Okay, this is a lot of writing and also a lot of inner work happening. If you are a counselor, if you do healing work, this can be a great line because it's making you able to dive deeper into those areas of life. And if not, those themes will come up for you on this line. Financial opportunities may also come through partnerships, commission, clients, or shared resources. However, you will need to be very clear about financial agreements and emotional boundaries on this line. Charm and connection can sometimes hide unequal exchanges, vague expectations, or financial entanglements. You may also become deeply affected by what other people say, think, or withhold. This line can help your voice create intimacy, influence, but it will ask you to communicate clearly rather than rely on unspoken assumptions. And that's it, you guys. This is how I see Venus planetary line playing out for you based on your rising sign. Please remember, this is still a general interpretation, okay? No two rising signs are going to be ever the same. This is going to depend on your natal chart. Astrocartography is astrology. We have to look at the natal chart. We have to look at your aspects. We have to look at the relocation chart. We have to look at your timing. And most importantly, we have to know what your goal is. Does your goal match with the line energy? And yeah, please let me know. I would love to know if you've been to your Venus line and if what I've shared fits in. And that's it, you guys. I will see you in the next video. I hope you're enjoying the series so far, and see you next time.